You're going to remember this day for the rest of your life. Focus and get clear. Ask yourself, what story did you come here to tell?
I'm just willing to give every single bit of me and just leave it all out there.
Goes down swinging.
Is this the tale of the runaway train?
Got her. Strikeout number 10. The execution getting herself out of another jam.
The winners who keep on winning?
Oklahoma versus the world, and they know it. They're not afraid to show the passion, show the intensity, show the emotion.
Or is this the story of a vendetta, redemption, a comeback, a page-turner with a surprise ending?
What a play by Kaylee Mudge! You want to rob a home run? This is how you do it.
Your performance today will be chiseled in stone.
The job's not done. We have more to do.
Write the story of a hero's journey, and then step off the page and make it come true.
Welcome to the NCAA Women's College World Series, presented by Capital One. A look back at last night. Game 1 belonged to Oklahoma. It was Kinsey Hansen driving in a pair of runs. And in the circle, Jordy Ball pitching the Sooners' third shutout win of this World Series as they beat Florida State 5-0. And that sets us up for Game 2. And here is today's pitching matchup. It will be the ace, Catherine Sandercock, for Florida State, and Alex Storako getting set to make her first career World Series start. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Hall of Fame Stadium for Game 2. I'm Beth Mowins alongside our Olympic gold medalists, Jessica Mendoza, Michelle Smith. We've got Holly Rowe down on the field with us. Okay, ladies, for the second night in a row, bit of a surprise in the circle, this time coming from Oklahoma.
Yeah, it tells me how confident Patty Gasso is in her offense, because if you look at Alex Storako's numbers, 6 innings pitched, 7 earned runs in the NCAA tournament, but they've outscored everyone that's been their MO all season long.
Yeah, just 2/3 of an inning here at the Women's College World Series. And earlier this year, she did pitch against Florida State, gave up multiple home runs, 4 earned runs. Little surprised, but I think you're right, Jess. It all comes back to that Oklahoma offense.
All right, well, let's start out with the visitors tonight, and that is the top seed Oklahoma. And Jess, they are on a record-setting run, and they could add even more numbers to it tonight.
Beth, you get to watch history when you're watching Oklahoma, because that's exactly what they're doing. It has been a dominant streak of 52 straight wins for the Sooner team. You think about the third consecutive title they're going after and how they've done it. This season, it's been presence, it's been precision, it's been power, and it's been that passion. This is the Oklahoma Sooner team throughout the season, very balanced. They have been challenged, but we've never seen anything like this before.
Yeah, with a win tonight, it's a three-peat. It would be a 6th title in a decade. That record is the best in the history of the 41 years of this tournament, and so is the 53-game win streak that they could carry over into next season. On the other side for Florida State, Michelle must win tonight, and we will see Kat Sandercock, who did not get into Game 1, trying to get them a Game 3 tomorrow.
Well, I think everybody's excited to see Kat Sandercock because she is money and precision when she is in the circle. 28 wins this year. How about 107 in her career? How does she do it? She's got movement through the zone. She's got a great drop ball. She's got a rise ball in the upper half, and she can mix speed. She is a master at being on the edges. A lot of energy, a lot of passion. Kat Sandercock built for this moment, ready to try and take down a very dominant Oklahoma team.
And they have thrived in this situation. Look at this, guys, both in 2018 when they won the title, 2021 when they were the runners-up. They had to come out of the losers bracket both times in elimination games. So here we go. The national championship trophy is in the house. The Sooners are 1 win away, 1 night to seize the day, 1 swing to start the party, and 1 moment to bring it all home. The Noles love living on the edge, staring down elimination and riding that emotion. They know nothing is out of reach when Kat gets the call. Let's take a look at the starting lineups brought to you by Capital One, the visitors from Oklahoma. And they feature 5 All-Americans on this team, including Kinsey Hansen. Look at the numbers in the NCAA tournament. 500 batting average with 3 home runs and 13 runs batted in. She drove in a pair in game 1 as we send it down to Holly Rowe.
Well, like many young women on this field, Kathryn Sandercock has had a dream to be standing where she is since she was a little girl. We first met her when she was just 13 years old, and she helped to lead her McLean, Virginia Southeast Little League team to the Little League World Series. She got a taste of softball and never looked back. In fact, her dad, Colin, built this gorgeous pitching building in their yard in Virginia. They had to get permission from the Homeowners Association, but that's where she honed her craft, worked hard, and here she is on this stage with her fate in her hand. What is that dream so special to start at the Little League World Series and finish your career at the College World Series? Her destiny is in her hands tonight, and as she walked in from the bullpen just now, the biggest smile on her face. Kat Sandercock is ready for this moment.
She was here in 2021 when they were the runners-up to Oklahoma. She pitched in every game. And what she told us the other day when we talked to her, it's a second chance. And just like the last national championship winner for the Seminoles, Megan King, it is a shot at redemption and a shot at history to try and end the streak tonight and get back and play another day in a must-win situation for Florida State. Her career record here at the World Series now is 5-2 with a 1.56 ERA, and she will face Jada Coleman leading things off. Four of the first 5 in the batting order are All-Americans, including this fabulous 1-2 punch at the top with Jada Coleman and Tiare Jennings. Came in together 3 years ago. All they know is winning championships. And that's sliced out to Mudge, 1 down. Michelle?
Kat Sandercock, one of the best in the business in limiting free passes, using the upper half of the zone, the rise ball. Look at the way she's going to get that movement late and sharp. Last 3 feet is where that ball's diving down. So a drop ball down at the knees, over the top rotation, that 12-6 rotation, just so good at purifying her spins to get that late sharp movement. Again, just those 20 walks on the year, outstanding at really working the edges.
She's 5-0 in the postseason, 2-0 here at the World Series. And the showdown right here with Tiare Jennings. I think Oklahoma's going to be expecting it down in the zone tonight. A time or two.
She rolls the ground balls. She loves to let her defense work behind her.
Infield pop-up, Flaherty's there. Kat did not throw yesterday, so she's plenty fresh on a hot and humid night here in Oklahoma City.
She's jammed the first 2 All-Americans that she's faced. Good job, really, and you have to hit that spot, Smitty, because anything more over the plate, you can tell OU is backing off the plate, understanding that's been the game plan for Oklahoma hitters this entire World Series.
Just 3 lefties in the lineup for Oklahoma, so she'll be able to use that curveball at times. She can expand the zone when they do move off the plate, Jess.
Here's Haley Lee, the DP. The transfer from Texas A&M. Still hitless in this World Series. She was the batter that got mudged last night when Kaylee stole a grand slam from her that would have walked it off and run-ruled Florida State.
0 for 11 with an asterisk. Crushed a ball.
She did hit a home run off of the Seminoles in the regular season. So this is actually the 3rd time this year that these two have seen one another. They only saw Kat Sandercock for a couple of innings in that regular season showdown in Norman. Here's what happened to Haley last night.
Well, this is a line drive, literally on a line, and Kaylee Mudge, she said, this was a moment I've dreamt of my whole life. It's so true. As an outfielder, that you practice that all the time, and she did it at the World Series, saving the game at that point. It would have ended with that home run.
Lee was already into her home run trot and had to cut it short. The Sooners hit the portal hard in the offseason. Lee and Sydney Sanders, who's at first base today, two of the top hitters available, and Patty Gasso going with perhaps the best arm available in the offseason, Alex Storako, who transferred in from Michigan. Ball.
Haley Lee not chasing anything on that outer half. Just seeing 3 pitches all out there, all balls.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Three-two to Lee. Got her. And a 1-2-3 start for Sandercock in Florida State.
Kat Sandercock with the setup pitch on the outer half, really working Lee away, and then she's going to come with the drop ball underneath the hands, precision on the inner half. Kat Sandercock showing why she's got 107 wins in her career.
The NCAA Women's College World Series is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? And in part by Gorilla, for the toughest jobs on planet Earth. The NCAA Women's College World Series is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? And in part by Gorilla, for the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
The stare down from Sandercock as we check out the starting lineups, brought to you by Capital One. Here's how it shapes up for Florida State. Michaela Edenfield, the only player with a pair of home runs here at the Women's College World Series. They will try and crank it up a bit. Just 2 hits in game 1 off of Jordy Ball, got shut out. And hoping they will fare a little bit better against Alex Storako, who, hey, this is the moment you come to Oklahoma for. The senior from Frankfort, Illinois, and former Big Ten Player of the Year at Michigan. Has not thrown a ton in this postseason, so a big opportunity for her, or will it be something the Seminoles can feast on? Jordy Ball, the game 1 winner, does not get the ball to start today.
Well, because of how dominant Jordy Ball was against this offense, I mean, you're looking at the anticipation, who's pitching. As soon as you get here for Florida State, you want to know who's on the other end. And if it's not Jordy Ball, there is going to be that sense of relief.
Kaylee Mudge, and that's off the bag at third, fair ball. Well, after a rough go against Jordy yesterday with a couple of strikeouts, there's your table setter for you.
Kaylee Mudge, talk about battling this one off. The pitch middle to inside part of the plate. Look at the beautiful look of how barely fair this is off the bag. The Seminoles don't waste any time to get their first base runner.
Mudge, 19 for 25, stealing bases. 134 for the team. They didn't have many chances to run last night. Let's see if they can get it going on the bases tonight.
Well, that pitch is going to be the key for both these clubs. Storako with the rise ball. Mudge did not swing at the first 2 pitches that were rise balls. Got a pitch to hit and drove it. Kerr, first pitch, swinging at a rise ball above her head.
Janai Kerr, the number 2 batter, drops down the bunt. Brito fires out to center field, and an error on the third baseman. 2 on with nobody out. Putting pressure on the defense.
That's what we talked about. Biggest question that's been asked all day long: how does Florida State get to Oklahoma? We saw it yesterday, the 2 errors, a team that had only 16 throughout the regular season. You put pressure on the D, and this is Florida State's game. It's not like they're adding something they haven't done.
Second error of the championship series for Brito, and it's the 4th of the postseason for her at third. And a chance right away for Kaylee Harding. Kaylee was 1 for 3 last night. Fouls it straight back. Out of Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Lonnie Alameda calls her a professional hitter. And quite often in practice, Kaylee is the one that Kat Sandercock wants to pitch to because she presents the biggest challenge. Lonnie Alameda, that national championship in 2018. This is their 3rd championship series in 5 years. And boy, can she get her teams ready to stare into the abyss and survive it.
Yeah. That's how they won that national championship in 2018. Every game was an elimination game.
0-2 from Storako. They call Harding Ocho to match the number on her jersey. Been really trying to simplify things, she was telling us as of late. Her numbers have dipped in the postseason. Sometimes it's as simple as see ball, hit ball. Was able to check that.
And that's a good hold because that's Storako's best pitch. That's how she gets the swing and miss. That's how she gets her outs, is getting the chase up out of the zone. Florida State knows that, but it's one thing to know it, it's another thing to hold.
Especially when you're behind 0-2. Lays off that.
Harding, glove by Brito for the first out. Let's send it down to Holly.
I was able to catch up with Oklahoma coach Patty Gasso before the game, like, hey, how you feeling? What are you thinking? What do you say to your team? And she said, we've got to relax. We have been playing softball for so long, working so hard this season for this moment. I think she can start to feel some of the tension and anxiety start to ebb in, the weight of expectations for this Sooner club. The win streak can be heavy, and I think she thinks it's important tonight for that team to just relax, take a deep breath, and perform to their capability. We're already seeing some kind of tension in the defense tonight. Let's see how it trickles over.
Well, that's why I think we were curious as to why she didn't come back with Jordy Ball to try and just end this thing in 2 nights. And instead go to Storako.
Well, and I think we've seen that in the past. She had the opportunity to come back-to-back with Kaylani Ricketts, and she didn't. She went with Michelle Gascoigne because she feels like then she still has her ace for Game 3 should something not go right in Game 2. These are tough coaching questions, decisions.
Well, it's a rarity to see an Oklahoma pitcher go back-to-back. I think G. Juarez a couple of years ago had to do it in games 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Might be something Kat Sandercock would have to do for Florida State.
That's a pitch that Edenfield was not expecting.
Makeda, the sophomore out of Sneads, Florida. She had one of their hits last night. There's Kaylani in full throat.
Screwball in the inner half.
That's a call that Oklahoma definitely wants.
Oklahoma does not have a two-strike hit yet in the series. Starocco had the lead runner and bobbled, so she has to go to first to get the second out. And now runners on second and third for the Seminoles.
Starocco's going to get a quick comebacker, and you can see the little bit of a bobble. She looks at first. She turns to think about third, drops the ball, picks it back up. Actually did a good job of making sure she got the out at first. At times we've seen her throw the ball in the right field.
Had some issues.
Yep. So just, I think getting in the out there is a win for her.
Here's Devin Flaherty. Pulls that one, and glove by Jennings at second. And a pair left on for the Noles as Starocco works out of it. Scoreless through one. Ricketts in a much better mood. Well, if necessary, we'll have more softball for you tomorrow night. That would be if Florida State wins this evening. Right back here, winner take all at 8 Eastern on ESPN. Our first look at the funnel cakes of the night, ladies. Always reminds me of Florida's back-to-back national championship teams when Tim Walton legendarily said, "We didn't come here to eat funnel cake. We came here to win and eat funnel cake."
It's all about the
corn
order.
dogs will allow those as well.
Yep, yep.
Oklahoma is looking for a third straight national championship here tonight. One win away. Florida State, an elimination game for them. Alyssa Brito will lead things off as we move to the second. 4, 5, and 6 coming up after Kat Sandercock needed just 10 pitches to get through the top 3 hitters. Ball. Junior out of Tustin, California. 2 for 2, drove in a run in game 1 last night. Catherine Sandercock, as we showed you at the top of the show, her last and only loss as a starter was on February 19th, so we're pushing 4 months since the last time she lost a start. Has rattled off 16 in a row since. Slow roller, Muffley's got a hustle, and Brito will leg it out. Infield hit for Alyssa.
Boy, that's just a slow developing play. All 3 pitches that she saw were on the outer half, and she gets around this ball, and you can just see off the end of the bat, and because of that, it's slow developing. Harding can't get to it. Muffley tries, but has to go a long way, and Brito's going to beat it out.
Not a team that relied a whole lot on stolen bases this year because of the power. Hansen is one of 5 hitters with double-digit home runs this year.
Kinzie Hansen has had the best at-bats this entire World Series. Has just been incredibly calm, but also just understanding her power zone. She knows the pitches that she can drive. She doesn't try to chase a whole lot inside. She looks middle to away. And 1 for 6, 2 ground ball outs.
Into double plays.
Into double plays against Catherine Sandercock.
And she wants time to step out. She is one of a handful of streak savers that rescued the 52-game winning streak. This was in the regionals. 2 outs, 2 strikes, last at-bat down, 3 runs, and she drives 3 in. They would win it in extras. They have had to save the streak twice now in the postseason in extra innings. 4 times on the year, guys, they have done it in their final at-bat.
Well, this team has said publicly, as long as they have a strike left, they think they can win the game. It doesn't matter how many runs they're down. This is a team with a high belief system.
They have victimized Florida State twice with wins number 14 and number 52. That shutout last night, the 29th. So half of the streak has been shutouts. That's how tough it's been to put up crooked numbers on them. Two-one from Cat. There it is by the numbers, outscoring opponents by 376 runs. Almost half the streak have been victories against ranked opponents.
And look at the run rules, 12 of them, or 10 plus, I should say. So not only are they shutting people out, they're putting big numbers up on the board.
Putting a hurt on folks.
Ouch.
Had a run rule against Tennessee in this World Series. 2-2 to Kinzie. Full count.
And that's what they do so well. With 2 strikes, doesn't matter what the count is, they are so good at not chasing pitches outside the zone. So typically, hitters will do that very well when they're ahead in the count. A 2-1 count, 3-1 counts. Very easy to lay off pitches out of the zone. But this is a team for Oklahoma that even when they are behind 0-1, 0-2, 1-2, they just don't chase. It's hard to find the out pitch against them.
You have to come over the plate, at least close to it.
3-2 pitch right back to the pitcher, and Brito did not check for the pop-up.
She doesn't know still.
And she gets doubled off. And Patty Gasso looks out at second base and points to her own eye and says, hey, we needed you to spot that one.
Yeah, she's stealing with her head down the entire time. It's always 3 steps look in. When you hear contact too, just peripheral vision, She heard contact and just assumed it was a ground ball.
Yeah, in base running, stealing 101 is about your third step. You have to sneak a peek, see what's going on, hear it, but see it.
So an error with the glove, and now an error on the bases for Brito tonight as Jocelyn Erickson steps in. Big night for the freshman, getting the start out in right field. Big time recruit out of Phoenix.
That is a amazing rise ball. So you see everything down, 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 and you're like, oh, Cat throws a rise ball sometimes. It's kind of okay. Wow, that pitch was, it looked like a rocket ship taking off.
Cat doesn't get a whole lot of strikeouts. Is she going after the rookie here?
Man, the bend on that, the elevation on that, wow.
That was a nice pitch. Erickson used to follow around her two sisters who played softball at BYU. She was a commit at a young age to Oklahoma. Another 0-2 from Cat.
Erickson now moving forward in the batter's box. She started in the back. And as Kat Sandercock started her motion, she moved her feet up a little bit, trying to get the drop before it drops. You gotta wonder though if Kat throws that rise ball again.
Erickson is strong, low and inside. I think more susceptible, as you mentioned, Jess, to the rise ball up and in.
Chooses to stay low and away. Jocelyn's only struck out once in her 13 at-bats so far in this NCAA tournament.
She's a very short swing. Her path to the ball, a lot of these OU hitters have a longer path. That's why you see that power, their ability to get that launch on plane with the ball. She has a very quick and short path. Allows her to make a lot of contact.
And that's also why it's hard to beat her on that inner half, because she is so quick there.
Also of note, after starting out with the batters in shadow and the pitchers in the sun, that with the setting sun now, it's pretty much shadow across the circle as well. Ninth pitch of this at-bat, excuse me, seventh. Ball. 2-2.
To go along with that short swing, she's got a very good eye for a freshman. Again, one of those components of not chasing when you've got 2 strikes on you. And as a pitcher, that's all you're trying to do, is to expand the strike zone, get the hitters to chase, to swing and miss.
Got her. Strikeout number 2.
Kat Sandercock showing that she can throw all of her pitches in a long at-bat. She'll use the rise ball. She'll go outside. This one a screwball on the outer half. It's got a little up, a little out. And Catherine Sandercock, 2 strikeouts on the afternoon. Knowles picking up the bats.
3 for the national championship. Back goes Muggs to the track, and it's gone. Flaherty pops it up. Juarez has it. A record-breaking run for Oklahoma, capped with a 5th national championship. That was number 5. They added number 6 last year, and our first rematch of two teams that have played in a previous Women's College World Series. Florida State won game 1, big day for Kaylee Harding, but then a Jocelyn Allo home run turned the tide of the entire series in game 2 when the Seminoles were 6 outs away from a national championship. And the Sooners ended up winning it in 3. In 17 years, we have had 5 champ series go to a 3rd game. And that's what the Seminoles are trying to force tonight. 6, 7, 8 coming up. Mac Leonard. In the first inning, Florida State left 2 on base. They went 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position. And Leonard floats one foul.
That was really similar to the missed hit that she had last night. It was the best really scoring chance that Florida State had. Runners were at 2nd and 3rd. It was a little bit closer to the line, just got a little bit out front of it. That's been kind of her swing. She's been struggling because she's out front of a lot of these pitches. She's had 1 hit in her last 28 at bats.
Ball for 3rd. Robbie Guest behind the plate, Christina Drum, Megan Rabin, and Mike Burwell are umpires tonight in game 2. And Leonard pops it up. Grace Lyons will get there. 1 down as we take a look at our bracket update brought to you by Enterprise. Well, good to see the roasted corn as well.
Look at all the
little
toppings.
parm on there.
Remember we saw, you thought some paprika is what you were saying?
You thought it might be chili.
Looks like they got it all.
I think I'm supposed to let you know our if necessary game will be tomorrow night. Riley Boone will track that down. Sorry, got distracted by the roasted corn, but we might be back tomorrow night if Florida State wins this.
There was a point to that shot. Food is always distracting to softball players. Squirrel.
Part of the allure. Here's Katie Dack. Katie's the DP tonight.
Straka's starting to bring that rise ball a little bit lower through the zone, getting Florida State to swing and miss at it.
And then he tried to take it, and it is a strike.
Yeah.
That's when Starocco starts looking good, is when she can hit the rise ball at the top of the zone and then get the chase out of the zone. She didn't have it in the first.
She didn't get to start last night, so her first start tonight. Did draw a walk as a pinch hitter. And Starocco with the rise at the eyes. And look at the emotion from Alex. Little chest bump. Scoreless. Through 2.
And think about the 2 that were in the zone, then you knew this one was coming. 0-2 out of the zone. Starocco loving it.
back to the NCAA Women's College World Series presented by Capital One. Here's your Capital One Cup men's and women's standings. Let's see, teams compete for a combined $500,000 scholarship donation from Capital One. There's Florida State on there, number 9 for the women. Looks like Notre Dame and Ohio State are on there on both sides.
Here they go distracting us again.
What is she going with?
Great corn.
Great. Ruby grape.
And
Oh, it's a mix.
shaved ice.
Lime. I like this.
Tiger's blood. Whoa. I was not expecting that. I'm gonna stick with the blue raspberry, I think, on that one. Whoa. We got a scoreless game. We're headed to the third. Must win tonight for Florida State. If Oklahoma wins, they are the national champs for the 6th time in 10 years, the 7th time overall. As Patty Gasso continues to push this program towards the stratosphere. Only Mike Candrea and Sharon Backus have more championships as a head coach. She's tied with Sue Enquist at 6 apiece. Sue, who was a longtime coach, former player at UCLA, inside that Bruin bubble, where quite often it was us against the world. Similar here, right, Holly?
Well, that's right. Patty Gasso said when you go perfect, when you have a 52-game winning streak, the pressure, the judgment, the weight creeps in. And so she actually reached out to Sue Enquist on how to handle these moments. She came away with the message to her team: we have to be unapologetic. We can't worry about the judgment. People saying we celebrate too much, we're being too passionate. I want my kids free, passionate, being unapologetically themselves. And that was good advice she got from Sue Enquist, who's done it with UCLA.
And she is trying to match the three-peat that the Bruins have from the late 80s, early 90s, as Sanders draws the lead-off walk here at the bottom of the order.
Well, that's one of the things they've done this year is they celebrate everything, even the walks, especially the walks when maybe the hitters have been behind 0-2 and worked their way back to full count, earned themselves a walk.
And we haven't seen a ton of that emotion and passion. You can tell that they've been on their heels. So I think there for Sis Sanders, trying to get her team up. It's out from Storako coming in.
Just the 4th walk of this World Series for Sandercock. Lyons tries to lay down the sacrifice. It squirts foul.
Well, that's when you know runs are at a premium, when you're starting to see a little bit of small ball popping out here.
Do not see it very often at all from this team. In fact, Grace Lyons, I think 3 total sacrifices on the season, 2 total.
I don't think it's a good decision. She's hitting just $167 here at the World Series, so a little bit of struggle. Might as well give a productive out opportunity to her.
That's foul. Well, and then she can pass the bat to Riley Boone, their number 9 hitter, who comes into this batting, I think, .500 in the postseason. She's got speed to put pressure on the D. Had 2 doubles in game 1 last night.
She's leading their team in almost every offensive category from the 9-hole.
She's 6 of 11 in the World Series. Yeah, it's a pretty good number.
It's decent.
.02 may take that off the table here. Lyons will swing away. Mudge back to the track, turns, it's off the wall. And Lyons has to slam on the brakes and head back to first. On a good throw back in, and smiles for Grace Lyons. A much needed hit for her.
Boy, and that's a miss for Kat Sandercock you don't see very often, Jess. That's an 0-2 pitch. She tries to go low and inside, and Lyons just barrels it up.
Yeah, another example of what this team can do with 2 strikes. The angle there, and just looking at Grace's reaction, I think she thought this was out. And it's interesting, too, I'm surprised Sid Sanders isn't standing on third base. Kaylee Mudge did a great job of getting it off the wall. But I'm thinking Sid maybe thought it was going to get caught. I mean, shoot, Grace Lyons almost overran her.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about how hot Boone is. Do you have her bunt here? Do you let her slap away? 2 on, nobody out. Boone will drop it down. It's spinning towards the chalk, and the chalk holds it in. If it's paint, it probably goes foul.
Well, and I don't think Harding had a chance or an opportunity here because Boone has so much speed. She wasn't going to be able to get Boone at first base. And Sanders as well coming in hard to third. Had to play your luck, but you're right. The chalk almost rolls it back into the fair territory.
With it spinning, I mean, I like the call here from Kaylee Harding to see if it will spin foul. And Beth, you nailed it. If that's paint, it goes foul.
So the first chance here for Oklahoma with the bases loaded. And the bottom of the order here sets the table for the top. And Jada Coleman, the Big 12 Player of the Year. "17 home runs in her first 2 years. She has matched that total this year. Added muscle, told us she got meaty because she wanted more pop in her bat. And a chance to bust it open right here. She's 2 for 5 this year with the bases loaded.
Loudest this crowd has been the entire series.
Aggressive with the first pitch, 0-1.
I feel like wherever Kat Sandercock threw that pitch, Jada was swinging. I mean, she could not wait. This is what she lives for. I mean, she was in that circle when they called timeout. You could tell she's like, let's just go. Come on, I want to hit. And you don't see that very often from players. Big situations, they fear them. Jada Coleman dreams about them. She wants to be in this batter's box.
Sandercock is very good at controlling the zone. She knows she can be around the zone. In this situation, you don't want to pitch from behind. Coleman smart.
That will get out of play.
And this one thing that Coleman has been doing in this World Series is kind of bailing off or spinning off that outside pitch. It's to try to let that travel a little bit deeper.
You know what's surprising is she's leading her team in strikeouts here at the World Series. Normally the best with 2 strikes. She's going to try to place it in the left field. Watch her swing. That's her goal. 0-2.
In her career, just a couple of strikeouts in 30 plate appearances with the bases loaded. Doing some self-talk right there.
That was close. You heard Jada Coleman. You could hear it from here yell no. She knew it was close.
That was a memorable one. The last Grand Slam in the Champ Series, Emily Carasoni, it was a walk-off against Oklahoma after trailing 7-0 to cap off the greatest comeback in Champ Series history to force Game 3, which the Sooners would win. That, incidentally, was Paige Parker pitching Game 1 for the win. Patty Gasso did not go back to Parker Game 2. Auburn won it. She went back to Paige Parker Game 3 to win it.
Interesting.
sounds familiar.
And Jada Coleman, you can see her bailing out of there, but watch how her hands with 2 strikes. She does this so well. 2 strikes. Look at 46% down that left field line. She told us this week that is exactly, she shortens her swing. It's a different swing. She's just trying to poke it over to Kaylee Mudge in left field.
Florida State has not shifted that way. The infield, of course, is, however, in. Sanders, Lyons, and Boone aboard with nobody out. Leonard will make the play to home for the force out. 1 down.
And I love the way that Kat Sandercock was attacking, going right at Jada Coleman, but Coleman, aggressive on that first pitch underneath the hands, continues to hammer her on the inner half. Coleman not biting with those 2 strikes, fouling off pitchers in the upper half of the zone, but Sandercock eventually is going to get Coleman to ground out on pitches on the inner half, not allowing Coleman to get extended. And like you talked about, Jess, try to hit that ball opposite field to the left side.
So back to the righties here. Tiare Jennings, 3rd all-time in home runs in Oklahoma history, as well as runs batted in, behind Jocelyn Allo and Lauren Chamberlain. And here at the World Series earlier this week, she set the record for most RBI. Jossie looking on.
Legends are made in Norman. She knows that.
That's where hers was. Well, and here in Oklahoma City. One and one to Jennings.
Smitty, I love the sequencing right now, and I know this is so inside, but everything is about the pitch prior that leads to the next. Away, working in, off speed. These are the hitters you circle in Oklahoma's lineup. How are they going to throw them? Can't throw the same pitch in the same location in a row.
Muffley, she'll make the play to home. So far, so good for the Seminoles. 2 down.
Well, this is typical Kat Sandercock softball, rolls ground balls, uses that defense behind her. It's a big get.
Well, the relationship with Lonnie Alameda, I mean, she provides them with all the analytics, the game plans. They are constantly talking throughout the course of a game, really all season long. Remember, as Holly Rowe has reported already at this World Series, they didn't utilize Sandercock as much during the regular season, so she would be ready to go 100% on a night like this in Oklahoma City. Equipped with all the tools. You knew eventually it would have to come through the Sooners. Here's Haley Lee. Mudge coming on, and she got her again. Second night in a row, and they get out of a bases-loaded situation with nobody out. Kat Sandercock loving it as the defense backs her up. NCAA Women's College World Series presented by Capital One. Both pitchers working out of jams early on as we head to the bottom of the third, scoreless, and we'll send it down to Holly.
What an incredible moment for Catherine Sandercock. 3 straight opportunities with the bases loaded, and she did not cave in. This is something she's been working on all season long, is her mental stability, her mental strength. She told us earlier that she has learned how to deal with failure. Failure has taught me a lot. I know what that failure feels like when I haven't come through for my team. But sports always gives you another chance to come through and succeed. She's learned how to deal with it, and in that moment when her team needed her, she was so mentally strong. But she's learned at the hands of these very Sooners just what that failure feels like. She told us she was 3 outs away in 2021 in Game 2 after winning Game 1. Didn't get it done, but she has learned this time around.
Storako facing Josie Muffley, 9, and then the top.
Well, you always learn so much more from your losses than your wins, and as elite athletes, the losses always stay with you longer, right?
Yeah.
Win, you expect yourself to win.
Yes.
Those losses, they eat at you for a year. They drive you to work harder.
There's a reason for it.
Thanks for including Holly and I in the elite athlete reference. We appreciate that. It's a 3-0 count now to Muffley. Well, and what Sandercock has been a part of, what all of these seniors have been a part of, has been a pretty special run. Coming in after that national championship, getting back to the championship series now twice in their own careers. And Muffley will draw the walk. The Sooners have the titles, but the Noles, their numbers impressive. Look at the win percentages. They're in the top 3 with UCLA since 2018. They have the 1 title in Tallahassee, a couple of them in Norman. And 3 finals appearances in 5 years for Florida State, make it 4 for Oklahoma. There's Sydney Sherrill, one of the stars of that 18 title team.
That's the one I circle, is that Champ Series appearance, because that's what comes in handy in this game too for Florida State. The fact that this is their 3rd. I spoke to Lonnie Alameda this morning, and she talked about the atmosphere here and the fact that they were emotional yesterday, but they've learned that you got to pretend like everyone here is cheering for Florida State.
Well, and experience this year, almost every tough ACC matchup was on the road. They came on the road to play Oklahoma State and Oklahoma in mid-March. I mean, they were kind of put through the grinder this year, so this feels normal.
Yeah.
13 road wins for Florida State against ranked opponents this year. Here's Kaylee Mudge now back to the top. She singled. She and Kerr both reached in the 1st and then got left at 2nd and 3rd base.
Florida State's been really good at getting on base. What they need to do is, once those runners get on, is get them in. That's been the difference so far.
Situational hitting. Every coach will talk about it, say that's what wins championships. How do you turn those LOBs into RBIs?
Brito, she will get the lead runner this time. 1 down as Muffley is out at 2nd. And it's Janai Kerr. The sophomore from Mableton, Georgia, who's overcome so much to get here. Of course, the COVID situation when she was arriving. Took a red shirt, also suffered an ACL injury. Always wanted to put that uniform on for Florida State.
Kerr was one of those Florida State Noles that had a home run off of Storako in that game back in March. Hit it off a changeup. Good chance she won't see a changeup in this at bat.
Looking for her first hit of the Champ Series, and there it is. Just out of the reach of Grace Lyons, and Holly's got more for us on Janai.
Well, Lonnie Alameda said one day after a game, this little tiny girl with a huge bow and a Vipers jersey on came up to her and said, one day I am going to be playing for you. And sure enough, Janai Kerr made that happen. She's a little older in these pictures, still in her Vipers shirt, and she sent me these saying, I'm so proud of how far I've come. That's Jessica Burrows on the left. That tells you how many years ago that was for the Seminoles, but she had a clear vision for what she wanted, and here she is playing for the Noles in the Women's College World Series.
Kaylee Harding, deep center field. Back goes Coleman to the wall, and she's got it and keeps it in the yard. The second rob job of the Champ Series for these two outfields.
Jada Coleman is so athletic. And you always see the shot of her catching it and bringing it in. How about the distance she had to cover to even get there? She's running full speed, jumps up to grab this, bring it back in. A payback from yesterday. Kaylee Mudge did this to Oklahoma, and this is so huge for her and her team right now, and her pitcher, Alex Duraco.
Harding stunned that Coleman took it away.
Wow.
Or the outfield play,
Yeah.
the last couple of nights.
But the comfort, that's the thing, Beth. It's just knowing where you're at on the field and the comfort of going up and getting it. A lot of times you're afraid of the wall, and we've seen outfielders here just have an understanding. And obviously Jada Coleman, playing a ton of games on this field, knew exactly that. Start to finish, too. I mean, it's the read, it's the distance, and then it's the jump.
We've got coaches' conferences going on everywhere right now.
I kind of feel like we need to huddle up.
Every head coach, every assistant is out there. There is activity, by the way, in both bullpens going on. Coleman has made this type of play before. This was in the championship series against Texas. Timed it perfectly.
And that's what I mean about comfort. I mean, she understands this field. They've played home games at this field. They understand the Women's College World Series, what that fence is.
Yeah, and they practice it. They practice balls off the wall, going up over the wall. I mean, all of that practiced over and over. And as you mentioned, Jess, knowing where you're at on the field to go back, how many steps is it to the warning track? It's court awareness for a basketball player.
Edenfield, and Brito will be able to step on the base, slams that ball down into the dirt as the defense helps them escape damage. As we take a look at tonight's biggie moment, brought to you by Wendy's.
Welcome back to the NCAA Softball Women's College World Series presented by Capital One. Here with Florida State head coach Lonnie Alameda. And Coach Alameda, such an incredible couple of innings here, both offensively and defensively. Like, let's go to Kat Sandercock first. So many opportunities for runs to score, but your ace was not about to have it. How did that whole inning play out to you?
Yeah, I mean, she's just excited for this moment, you know. She's worked really hard being able to spread the zone from rise, drop to change. So knowing when you get these kind of hitters that you got to be able to give them a different look at different times. So being able to rely on the rise ball in that moment was huge for us. And, you know, I mean, that's why you spend all that time all summer long and off season to do that. And it shows up in these moments.
She also has great confidence in her defense behind her. Play after great play, throwing to the home base. Tell us a little bit about what you see from your kids as far as being relaxed and executing right now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is a great environment. Last night got us a little bit, you know, but like, I think for the returners, they were comfortable, but for our newbies, you know, and I know Kat's been in this moment over and over again. So not many people get this where the state of Oklahoma's here in town to celebrate their team. But it's really special. And as long as we can keep looking at it as they love softball and they're not against us. And I think that's what we talked about this morning is like, just play some softball and really enjoy that everyone loves softball here.
Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Coach.
thank you.
Well, we are scoreless because of some amazing defensive plays. And this is bases loaded, nobody out. And Sandercock working out of the jam.
Well, and who they worked it out of, too. You're talking about the top 3 hitters in this lineup all getting jammed, coming inside, attacking inside the kitchen of the Sooner team. That's huge. Bases loaded, nobody out. I can't imagine that's happened to the Sooners all season long where they don't capitalize.
So we head to the 4th. Kat Sandercock back to work against Alyssa Brito. It's 4-5 and 6. Brito singled her first time up. Florida State has to win this one to force game 3 tomorrow. OU wins. They are the national champs for the 3rd year in a row.
This is where I'm interested to see Alyssa Brito and her response. Smitty, you talked about it with pitchers and failure. For Brito, she's had an error. She was doubled off on a fly ball already in this game. How does she respond? And you can tell, I mean, it's the first time I haven't seen her yell and scream even when she got her hit. She was very quiet at first base. You know she's feeling it, but how you respond is everything.
29 years now for Patty Gasso, the active wins leader, career number 5 all-time in wins. They call it the championship mindset at Norman. And it took a little more time to instill this year with all the transfers and freshmen. Of course, the departure of Jocelyn Allo after the back-to-back natties. And all they've done is put up a 60-1 record, 1 run away from a perfect season. It was a 4-3 loss to Baylor back in February.
This Oklahoma team just driven by greatness, and because they do have transfers and young athletes that come in, they want their shot at a national championship. There's always someone driving, working hard, wanting to be in this environment that has never been here before.
Will stay fair. Harding makes the play. Let's send it down to Holly.
You guys, one of the things that's made Patty Gasso great, 1, she's the most competitive one of the most we know, but 2, she's been willing to adapt through the years. She said, you know, the older I get, the more I realize I've got to connect in different ways with this younger generation. So last couple of years, she's done something different. She started taking each player out, just kind of like one-on-one, like go get coffee, go get lunch, go have a dinner, and sit down and talk about everything except for softball. Find out who they are as people, find out what they care about. And she said, I feel like just connecting with them on an individual level as a human has made a lot of difference, especially when half the roster turned over. Half of these kids are new this season, and Patty's done that to help get to know them.
Then you know how to coach them, Holly. That's the thing. There's no cookie cutter way to coach your team, you got to understand the individual, what they can handle, what they can take. And I think now more than ever, and she even said it, this team is really different. Every player is so different from each other. They probably wouldn't even hang out outside the field if it wasn't for the common bond of softball. And she understands how to bring them all together.
Well, that's what team is, right? I mean, we talk about how good this team is, all the statistics, the numbers.
Good changeup to Hansen, 0-2. We are also told that there are some highly competitive knockdown drag-out volleyball matches.
Yes.
Yes, they have the s'mores and the cookouts, they told us, but the volleyball matches is where it's at, and where they really get the competitive juices flowing that carry over into softball practice. Oh, 2 pitch. Muffley. 2 down.
Yeah, I think they said the volleyball matches, that everything was status quo, would continue to be competitive until they started yelling at each other, at which time they decided that they would come back tomorrow.
But it's impressive. They said after like a 3-game series on Sundays, that's like their big day. They'd have a barbecue and let's play volleyball. And even though they've just played an entire series, everyone would come over, and it's the entire, I mean, it's full volleyball too. I mean, the entire team.
Coaches even helped them buy, you know, go out and get what they needed for the net, for the set.
Use Oklahoma's facilities.
Encourage, exactly.
Second at bat for Jocelyn Erickson. 9 pitches from Kat Sandercock this inning, all of them strikes. To retire the 4 and 5 hitters. Struck out Erickson back in the second. Pitchers may be taking the decision out of their coach's hands right now as to whether or not we need to go to the bullpen. Sandercock and Starocco. Bagels on the board so far.
Pitched well in pressure situations.
Defense too. Yeah, that's been huge. Starocco's only had the 1 strikeout, so it's been a lot of making plays behind her. Kat Sandercock only the 2 Ks, and I actually love these kind of pitchers duels where it's not just a bunch of miss, but it's a team getting the outs.
There's the battery for Oklahoma tonight. The calls of K-time from the Seminole fans on a 2-strike pitch. Got her again. Second time for Sandercock v. Erickson in a 1-2-3 inning.
Kat Sandercock continuing to hammer that inside corner to Erickson. Drop ball in the inner half. Really good late sharp break. Sandercock just precision money getting it done.
Now playing right field for Oklahoma, number 40.
Welcome back to the Women's College World Series presented by Capital One, here with Oklahoma coach Patty Gasso. And you were talking to me a little bit before the game about the moments getting bigger, the moments feeling bigger. You want your kids to relax. What are you seeing so far, and how can they settle into this game?
We're facing a very good pitcher, so it's hard to get momentum off of her. She spots the ball up so well. We had bases loaded, and they got out of it, hit the ball hard. I mean, we take that as a win. Jada Coleman's play was a win for us, so we're just getting wins within the game to try to create some kind of momentum.
You've gone with Storako. This will be almost the third time through the lineup for her. How much more do you want them to see her?
I don't know. I think we're just kind of waiting for our offense to do something as well, but she's doing a good job keeping us in this game, so far so good.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you, Holly. Scoreless to the bottom of the fourth, and Storako, I think, signaling over to the side. Does somebody need? Looks like everything's good to go. And Devin Flaherty will step in. 5, 6, and 7 coming up. Devin grounded to second base in the first inning when the Seminoles had 2 on and went 0 for 3 RISP. Also base runners in the third. The fabulous catch, robbing a home run out in center field by Jada Coleman off the bat of Kaylee Harding. So they've had their moments. Which side can break through?
Now, second time through the order. Adjustments. Devin Flaherty, I mean, that's as back in the box as you can get. On the line to see her longer.
Brent Straka starting to use that changeup more so in this game than she has in other games in the past, knowing that keeping Florida State off balance, seeing them move back in the box, all those little adjustments as a pitcher you have to make.
Well, Patty Gasso was talking about the wins. I think she'd call it a win here for Alex Storako, too, who only had thrown 2/3 of an inning here at the World Series in their game against Tennessee, and had not been utilized as much in the NCAA tournament as in the regular season. Both these teams started to lean more heavily on their aces, Ball and Sandercock, the deeper into the tournament they got. Flaherty, Sanders, 1 down. Here's tonight's biggie moment, brought to you by Wendy's, Jess.
Yeah, it was back runners at first and second. Jada Coleman going back, going up, bringing it back. A huge play. That's the difference in this game. Would have been a 3-run shot off the bat of Kaylee Harding. And Jada Coleman knows she's been here before. She's done that before. That's why we're all tied up still. Zeros.
Mac Leonard popped up in the second to short. Grad student out of Normal, Illinois. Got the start in the circle last night. Was 0 for 2 at the plate.
See your numbers in the tournament. Only one here, one hit here at the Women's College World Series in the last couple weeks.
Well, that last pitch that she checked off, to me, is part of the reason she struggled. A lot of movement. Instead of letting that ball travel, you know, sometimes it's so easy to be eager, especially as lefties.
You jump when you, especially when you're struggling, because you just want to jump at everything.
Storako, who picked up All-America honors at Michigan before coming to Norman this year, had a no-hitter during the regular season against Kentucky. And this has been the issue for the Florida State offense, with 2 strikes, 0 for 17. foul ball.
She's been so close on the balls that she's pulled, though. We've seen 3 down the line. That one as close as it gets. But her swing needs to be thinking more middle away. Especially now, because I think they go change up or outside. She did not bite at the strike that they threw her. It was pretty much down the middle to away.
Leonard pulls that one, and it's gone. Mac Leonard, just her second hit in her last 30 at-bats.
Boy, Jess, we were just talking about it. That's a changeup, a 54-mile-an-hour changeup where Mac had been really struggling, and they throw her a pitch that she's able to just barrel up.
Just a beautiful job. I mean, talk about the adjustment within this at bat. Look at how out front she is, but still able to get enough to hit this one out. In fact, in this game, she was pulling that same pitch about 5 feet foul. In this case, gets the Seminoles on the board. That's a heck of a way to break out.
She told us that one at-bat we need the most is still coming. And she has Florida State in front in a must-win game tonight, trying to force a winner-take-all game 3 tomorrow. Oh. 0-1 to Hallie Waycaser as the home run ball makes its way to Mac's family. On their feet.
Love that big smile.
Well, it's been a long time coming for Mac, and she is enjoying it.
Haven't had a hit in 2 games with 2 strikes. That's their first one.
Yeah. Oh. Hallie Waycaser, she has a home run as well here at the Women's College World Series. One of their 3 against Tennessee. Holly?
Patty Gasso told me before the game that the Oklahoma pitching plan would be to take Sirocco as deep as they could in this game. She was hoping to get to at least like the 5th inning before they had to bring in anybody else, in particular Jordy Ball, because she said, I don't want to burn Ball today if I can help it, because we could have a game 3. So planning ahead, even though win this game and you're national champs, but they are still definitely planning ahead in case of losing tonight.
That is Kirsten Deal, the freshman, who was out in the bullpen, as Sirocco gets a strikeout, 2 down.
How about she goes back to the same pitch that she gave up the home run against? This tells me everything about Alex Sirocco, coming back with the changeup, and look at the way that this bends away. The best changeup that we've seen her throw, and it comes after she gives one up. Love that she went back to that pitch.
Well, that's the key. You can't let one hit take it out of your toolbox. You have to be able to continue to come back to it.
Oh.
Well, a lot of that has to do with Jen Rocha, one of the best pitch callers in the entire game. A longtime assistant coach at Florida before moving over and back to Oklahoma.
Riley Boone has it, but the Seminoles grab the lead with the swing of Mac Leonard, and the Sooners find themselves in uncharted territory. They've only trailed in 8% of the plays in games this season.
Mac Leonard, how about sitting on the changeup? 2 strikes on her swing, poking this one out to get the Seminoles on the board. 1 zip.
Sandercock has been carving up the strike zone, a drop ball on the inner half. Great rotation. This is a screwball that she does not throw very often, but can bring it out when need be. But really living in the lower half of the zone. And when the pressure was on, the bases was loaded. Look at this, 3 jam jobs to 3 of the best hitters on this Oklahoma offense. Coleman, Jennings, Lee induces the ground outs and a pop-up to get out of a bases loaded jam. Catherine Sandercock really has been on point tonight. 58 pitches working in here to the top of the 5th.
Well, and those players that loaded the bases were at the bottom of the Oklahoma order, and here they come again. Sanders, Lyons, and Boone all reached in that 3rd inning. Ball 1-0 to Sanders, who was an All-American last year at Arizona State with 21 home runs and 63 RBI. Made the move to Norman. One for 8 so far at the World Series. Sends that the opposite way, and that is headed for the fence and out. Sydney Sanders ties it up for Oklahoma.
So Sandercock had been working ahead. She walked Sid Sanders last inning. This one behind 0-2 and puts a drop ball down where Sanders can just attack it.
Look at the swing, too. She's off the plate, and this pitch is outside the reach that Sydney Sanders has, the strength that she has to go opposite field. That's why she's comfortable to get off the plate, because what she doesn't want is something on her hands. She takes a pitch that's outside, drives it out. We're all tied up.
4th home run of this NCAA tournament for the sophomore from San Marcos, California.
You could just tell when she was falling behind 2-0 that she was going to have to put something a little bit too sweet. That drop ball just a little bit too high, and Sanders just clobbers it.
Second home run given up by Sandercock in the postseason.
How about the first home run that Oklahoma has hit in this Champ Series, too? I mean, this is a team that just puts them on quick.
And it's only their 4th of the Women's College World Series, which typically the balls are leaving the yard a lot more.
A ton, yeah.
Hello to the Sanders family. That softball, by the way, is run scored number 499 on the season. The next one would be 500 for the year.
So by comparison, 4 home runs in this Women's College World Series. Last year, they had 17 home runs in the Women's College World Series.
Well, this is how they get you. 45% of the runs scored via home run this season. One, 2 to Lions. Grace sends one deep. Mudge back to the wall and runs out of room. Back-to-back jacks for OU, and the bottom of the order is crushing it tonight.
The best 2-strike hitting team in the country. 2 strikes, they're so comfortable. And honestly, they understand on a changeup right here. Grace Lyons She's not hunting this pitch, but she has an understanding of recognition. You can tell she sees it out of the hand, she waits, and she drives it out. Such a great job being behind in the count with still understanding the strike zone. This is the 11th time this season they've gone back-to-back with home runs, but this time the bottom of the order.
And the immediate response, too, guys, from the Florida State Mac Leonard home run. Riley Boone out to Kerr in center, one down. That's the first time that the bottom three have been retired. They had reached base 5 of 6 times, back-to-back home runs, and now they have hit the 500-run total for the year.
This team can score in so many different ways. They walk, they hit gap to gap. 117 home runs now on the year, but how about the doubles? 116 doubles on the year.
Third time through the order now. Here's the leadoff, Jada Coleman. She, Jennings, and Lee are 0 for 6 so far. Well, for Mac Leonard, a big breakout with the home run. Same thing for Grace Lyons, who was hitting just $150 in the postseason. And it's the timely hits that matter here in Oklahoma City. And who shines on the big stage?
Well, Lyons was in the 6th hole yesterday, got dropped all the way down to the 8th hole today because she had been struggling.
That's your struggle hitter.
I know, right?
Holly?
Well, Grace Lyons told us that JT Gasso is such a great hitting coach, that he's come into his own. She said what makes him so unique is that it's individual. He notices how our bodies are each different, how our mind works differently. He said everybody thinks a little bit differently in the box, and he notices all those little things, and then he simplifies it for us. Not too much mechanical so you don't become robotic. He just knows what you need in that moment. We saw it just there from Grace Lyons.
Yeah, it's a big night for Grace, who is in her 5th year and her 4th championship series appearance.
Jada wanted this walk, 'cause this is definitely a strike.
Back into the box at 3-1. Coleman gets a hold of one. That one's back to the base of the wall and hauled down by Waycaser. Put a charge in that one. It stays in the yard. 2 down. Well, for Kat Sandercock, the last time she allowed 2 home runs was her only loss of the year as a starting pitcher back on February 19th against Alabama.
She typically will keep the ball in the yard because she does have that drop ball. Likes to live in the lower half of the zone, but the 2 pitches that have gone out was a 2-0 drop ball that she had to elevate and put on the plate to Sid Sanders because she was behind, and then the changeup that she missed that bled back into the strike zone that Grace Lyons hit.
Jennings grounds it to Flaherty. Side retired, but the bottom of the order comes through clutch.
If you know the Oklahoma Sooners, you know how big the bats can be. And you think about the bottom of this lineup. Sydney Sanders starting off this inning, going big, 2-0 pitch outside, driving it away to put the Sooners on the board, and her reactions, and then followed up by Grace Lyons right after a changeup. How long that bat stays in the zone to go up 2-1.
Oklahoma takes the lead over Florida State to the bottom of the fifth, and a pitching change which also almost required a catching change. A misfire on the, on the high five with Ball and Kinsey Hansen. Both are okay, and both are out there as Ball comes on in relief now to protect the lead and possibly win a championship. Florida State, after getting ahead 1-0, now will have to rally to force a game 3. 21.2 scoreless innings of work. And that's the most since Amanda Scott with Fresno in the late 90s. Picked up the win yesterday, a 2-hit shutout with 10 strikeouts.
Well, this is her 16th relief appearance. What's impressive, y'all, she's given up just 12 hits, and those 91 batters that she's faced in relief, no runs, has not given up a run in relief.
2-0 to Josie Muffley, bottom of the order, and then the top. Yesterday in Jordy's start, she struck out 7 of the 9 Seminole hitters. Muffley, one of those she did not get, along with Waycaser.
You got to remember, too, Josie Muffley is expecting inside. Jordy Ball has a ton of arm side, meaning that inside part of the plate with the rise ball, and instead Jordy Ball understanding that. Hey, they saw me yesterday going twice away and down.
You can see the way Jordy is going to attack this. The strike zone's a drop ball over 70 miles an hour. That's the pitch, though, the elite changeup that she has at 60 miles an hour, and that sets up everything else, including this rise ball that she can just throw through the zone. Look at those 10 strikeouts. Not afraid to hammer and throw the pitch through the middle part of the zone and do a lot of swing and miss because she's simply putting the ball right over the plate.
This is what Josie Muffley is expecting, that swing and miss. Look at the zone. I mean, it is dead red right there, and that's what you know of a scouting report of Jordy Ball. She's trying to mix it up, though, right now. 2 consecutive days facing this lineup usually is advantage hitter. She's trying to recreate the way that she's tooling and throwing her pitches.
If Florida State can rally here in the late innings and force a game 3, we will play it tomorrow night at 8 Eastern on ESPN. For more information, go to ncaa.com, your home for all 90 NCAA championships. As the score stands right now, Oklahoma is in line to win a 7th national championship, their 6th in a decade, and their 3rd in a row. Their win streak, an NCAA record, stands at 52 straight games. You see the big brace that Josie wears? A lot of it dating back to her formative years as a hockey player. Did not start playing softball till her junior year in high school. Two from Ball. And right back to Jordy. 1 down. She'll pass some info on to Janai Kerr. Janai has singled and reached on an error tonight. Also reached base on an error yesterday, and she's on deck here with Kaylee Mudge stepping in. Mudge drops it down and takes a good Oklahoma bounce.
Well, this would have been an out, too. Kinsey Hansen didn't see where it went. That's a ball she probably would have caught had she seen it. It's so hard, too, when you see the bunt. Kind of blinds you as a catcher.
Mudge singled in the first, reached on a fielder's choice in the 3rd. Oh, 2. Jordy in this NCAA tournament, 7-0, 46 strikeouts and 4 walks in her 35 1/3 innings. That lone earned run coming in the supers against Clemson.
She's also got a 69% strikeout rate when she's got 2 strikes. Division I average pitchers, 30%. She is triple when she gets in these counts at striking batters out.
Held up, 2-2.
So many tools. She'll take your eyes upstairs with that rise ball. She'll take your eyes downstairs with that drop ball.
But everything's been away to Kaylee Mudge right now.
Coming out of high school, the #1 recruit in the country. Lived up to the hype, the National Freshman of the Year last year. Big 12 Pitcher of the Year this year. She's 44-2 in her 2 seasons. 1 loss last year, once this year. Ironically, on the exact same day that Kat Sandercock lost her only start so far of the season, February 19th.
Must have been some weird stuff going on in the universe that day.
Mojo happening. Alabama and Baylor.
Yep.
Full count. Mudge flies that out to center. Coleman. 2 down.
Now back to center fielder number 4, Janai Bird.
One of the things you noticed last night with Ball is that she just was getting ahead so quickly. Florida State was constantly at 0-1, 0-2, trying to dig out of that hole, and Jordy Ball just does not let you. She's been a little bit less consistent on that first pitch here in this relief appearance, but has enough tools to be able to fight her way back into counts when she's behind.
One-0 to Kerr. Janai lifts that to right. Alina Torres, who has come on in right field, makes the catch. Jordy Ball gets a 1-2-3 inning, and it remains a 1-run game.
The NCAA hopes you enjoyed tonight's game. Cheering on your team. If you do choose to drink this drink responsibly. If you plan to get home safely using a designated driver or another. MC Garrett, take it away.
All right, fans, it's time for the Buffalo Wings Swing for Your Wings. So, representing OU, we've got Mallory and Allie.
Hey, ladies.
Pretty good.
Hello.
Yes.
So they've got slingshots.
Yeah, we heard her.
Hey, ladies.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, I just saw that shot of Jen Rocha. I don't know if we've talked about her much, but this three-peat has come since she joined the staff. I feel like we should give her a little love. She's done a good job with the pitching calls. Yep.
Again, whoever has the most at the end of 60 seconds will be our winner. All right. Here we falling now. All right, here we go. Oh, it came out. You got to keep them in your basket even if you fall. So it's 1-0 right now. There we go. 1-0 Florida State. 2-0. There's one for OU. Again, for OU, we got Mallory and Allie. For Florida State, we got Courtney and Madison. So let's cheer for one. 25 seconds remaining. 3-1 Florida State. 20 seconds. Let's get
Let's take a look at our Capital One rewarding performance. Back to back from the bottom.
Sid Sanders taking a 2-0 pitch and going oppo. And then how about Grace Lyons, the senior, catching up to a changeup and just driving that over the left field fence. Back-to-back jacks for Oklahoma, getting it done after being down 1-0 to take the lead.
Look at that from the top and the bottom. 7 through 9 are 4 for 5. And they have produced.
But see, to me, the definition of balance isn't everyone's hitting all the time. It's when you're struggling with your 1 through 6. You look at 1 for 14. They have struggled. Those are the stars. But balance is then picking them up. The bottom of the lineup, that's what they've done tonight.
So Florida State has 6 outs to work with to stretch their season. As we move to the top of the 6th, if Oklahoma wins, they are the national champions. Three, 4, 5 coming up to face Kat Sandercock.
This is where Kat needs to be careful. That last pitch elevated, drop ball in the outer half. Lee didn't go get it, but that was well above the knee.
Muffley deep in the 5-6 hole, and Haley Lee able to leg it out. Leadoff is on. We've got a great lineup for you this weekend. With all kinds of sports action. How about Game 4 of the NBA Finals? The Nuggets up 2-1 on the Heat. Then it's UFC 289. Little WNBA for you Sunday afternoon on ABC. And then Sunday night baseball is the Red Sox at Yankee Stadium. There you see Patty Gassel and her son JT, who works with the hitters, and Jen Rocha, who works with the pitchers. Now Lonnie Alameda will come out of the dugout as well for Florida State. Coach says, I just felt left out. How you guys doing?
Might be an eyes up. That's been their theme throughout the season. Keep those eyes up, connect with each other, look at each other's eyes, never look down.
And how about Jordy Ball back into the game as a pinch runner here for the second night in a row? She actually outscored the Seminoles yesterday. She scored a run and picked up the shutout.
Now batting base number 33, Alyssa Brito.
Alyssa Brito, 3 for 5 with runners in scoring position here at the World Series for Alyssa. First pitch swinging. Ball was on the move.
Coming to the game, you're pitching. First pitch, you're stealing. Trying to put the throttle on right now. They know just a one-run ball game.
Jordy does have 32 at-bats on the season. She has 4 stolen bases. This is not new, although it may be new to you watching the Women's College World Series. We've seen pitchers who rake before. I don't know that we've seen one enter as a pinch runner. Brito back up the middle. Ball had to hesitate. She'll hold at second. And they've got the first couple on base with back-to-back singles.
When I mentioned earlier that this is where Sandercock needs to be careful. She's been elevating her pitches. And you can just kind of tell that when you do that, Oklahoma is so good at being able to barrel up pitches. And so this pitch lower, but still above the knee and all on the white of the plate. So take a look at this, and Brito is just going to sit, let it travel, dump it into the green. Back-to-back base hits here in the 6th for Oklahoma.
Sophia Nugent will come on.
Both those hits on 0-1 counts. I'm actually surprised that Sandercock is not using her off-speed as much.
So this is Nugent to hit for Kinsey Hansen. With 2 on and nobody out. These are all the first substitutions, by the way, so in softball you can get lifted and re-enter once. Lee, Brito, and Hansen would all be eligible to re-enter the ball game. Interesting choice here, though, to lift Hansen, who's been getting some of the best swings going. Maybe it's because she wanted Nugent to drop down a bunt, and there you go.
Yeah, that right there.
Little sacrifice opportunity. Advances the base runners.
This is all about small ball. Both those runners in the scoring position, bunt down the first base line.
Oh, we talk about those productive outs, Michelle. That's her first bunt of the year.
Yeah, you don't see Oklahoma do this a lot because they're not in one-run games a lot. They're swinging everyone, but we're seeing it in this series.
Their average margin of victory during the winning streak is 8-1.
Well, this just tells me that Patty Gasso wants a couple more runs up on the board, give that little bit of a comfort, a little bit of a cushion for Jordy Ball.
She pinch bunt for her best hitter. I mean, that's how much Patty's thinking, look, we got a situationally hit right now.
Yeah, and 7, 8, and 9 are coming up who have been like on fire. You know, you look at all the hits.
This is a first at bat for Torres, who came on as a defensive replacement after Erickson struck out a couple times. Lena was 1 for 2 yesterday, got the start.
Torres' batting average on the drop ball is just 111. She's more of an up ball hitter, which is part of the reason why Erickson probably got the start. Erickson hits 381 on that drop. However, Sandercock had her number, struck her out twice.
Torres, Muffley with the backhand and looking to make the tag of Brito. Got her. That's the only play as Ball comes home to score.
This is smart, too, from Josie Muffley, because Alyssa Brito tries to do everything she can to run away from Muffley to the point she gets out of the baseline. You're going to see Muffley here make a great play, being able to get this to her backhand. No, her only play is right there at Brito. She doesn't tag her, but you see where she's at, how far out of the baseline. She's not going to go chase her. She says, okay, I've gone enough. I know that you're automatically going to be out. Nice, smart defense from Josie Muffley.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that Brito didn't read that. That plays in front of her, that she didn't stop and go back to second. There's no way. Once Muffley had to backhand that, there was no way she was going to get Ball. Her only opportunity would have been to play it first.
And so now Jordy Ball has scored 2 runs in this championship series while not allowing any. Sanders hit a home run off of Sandercock in the 5th. Ball. Went the opposite way with it, out to right field.
That's what she doesn't want. That's why you see her so far off the plate. Sandercock, that last at bat, just tried to get it off the plate so make her have to reach, but really to get Sydney Sanders out is you have to come in on the hands.
Yeah, you have to trust that you're going to move that home plate in even though she's off the plate. Throw to the batter, not the plate at times. That's why it's important to work from ahead.
Sanders out to Mudge, who makes the play, but another run in to make it 3-1, Oklahoma. because the sun sets in Oklahoma City, is the sun also setting on our softball season. A win tonight for Oklahoma, and they have a three-peat. It would be a 6th national championship in a decade. That record and win percentage are the best ever. And a win tonight would get them a 53-game win streak, 109 days long, to carry over into next year. Back behind the plate, and Harding pops out. One down. And Florida State has 5 outs to work with. Heart of the order here, the 3, 4, 5 batters to face Jordy Ball. Couple of ground outs for Michaela.
She was one of few to get a hit off Jordy Ball last night. She also struck out against her on the rise ball.
2 runs scored, none allowed. The run on the board tonight for Florida State was off the starter, Alex Storako. Brito with the backhand. 2 down. That home run from Mac Leonard. On the relationship to Jordy Ball and Jen Rocha, who is the primary pitch caller and works with this pitching staff. Former player here. And a key cog in their success with these pitching staffs that they've had in recent years since she arrived from Florida, where she was also an assistant on some championship teams.
She played the game at a time when the Battery called their own game. You know, understands the nuances of how to set up hitters, how to get the most out of yourself as a pitcher by working the corners, mixing speeds. Ironically enough, Lonnie Alameda as well went to Oklahoma.
Yep.
Jen Rocha, one of the best pitch callers in this game.
Well, what I like too is just an understanding. The game plan clearly was, and Patty Gasso said it to Holly Rowe, if we get a lead, that's when we could see a change. And what she meant was Jordy Ball. But the plan for Jen Rocha and Jordy is, okay, when we face them back to back, how are we different? How do we mix our pitches? How do we not allow them to understand what we're going to throw? And that's what they've done an excellent job of so far in this one.
Well, and when you're setting up hitters and you're throwing pitches, you always know their hot zones, right? Where they're weak and where they're strong, and based on whether or not you're ahead or behind, you attack their weak spot or their hot spot, their strength. And it's always important to attack a hitter's strength when you're ahead. And Jordy throws from ahead quite often, so she can do that. You're strong up. Well, I'm going to throw you a rise ball. I'm just not going to put it. Yeah, and
Love
then
that
she does shake
in too.
I'll throw that rise ball, but I'm just not going to throw it for a strike.
Devin Flaherty stays in it.
And therein lies, you know, the opportunity for pitchers is to understand those zones of the hitters, but then to be able to control their pitches and not miss, which also allows your defense to position properly.
Got her. Down and away with the off speed in a 1-2-3 inning. And the Oklahoma Sooners, 3 outs from a 3-peat.
Jordy Ball has retired all 6 hitters that she has seen. An elite drop ball, an amazing rise ball, but this is the pitch, the changeup, that really sets her apart. Jordy Ball getting it done.
The future is golden. Step into
game.
Well, we talk about the UCLA Bruins in the three-peat, 1988, 89, and 90. That's the only in World Series history. Arizona in the mid-90s won 4 of 5. That's the other dominant run in the history of the sport. And so it's no surprise that teams around that era have the best win percentage in history. That's the OU team from last year. You'll note this year's team would leap to the head of the class and pass that UCLA team as the best record, the best winning percentage season in the 41-year history of NCAA softball. Top of the 7th, and one of the home run hitters tonight, Grace Lyons, to face Kat Sandercock. It's one of the great conversations, right, when you're amongst your softball friends. Is it the best team ever? Is this the best run, the best era ever? Especially when you got different generations, you know, that had eyes on those great teams in the 80s and 90s for UCLA and Arizona.
Definitely the most dominant, and I do think the 2 years of national championships coming into the season, there's so many teams that they played that they're already winning because the other team is intimidated. We saw that over the course of the regular season, and I feel like, honestly, they've sent better teams here, bigger stars, but this one is incredibly balanced, and they're also feeding off of what the last 2 years have brought them.
Looking for the three-peat, looking for the 6th in a decade. Lyons is retired. Holly?
You know, Patty Gasso has built something so special at Oklahoma, but she started her dreams of this night sitting right here in the stand. She was a junior college coach for Long Beach City College. Grew up in California, working hard, blue-collar work ethic, and she sat in the stands here many years ago, over 29 years ago, and thought, one day I want to be on the field coaching in this game. Well, now here she is, having built one of the great dynasties in women's sports. She took that job for $42,000 back in the day, had to take a pay cut to go to Oklahoma, but I think it's turned out just fine, and those dreams coming true again tonight.
Yeah, that woman's t-shirt needs an update. There are 6 of them presently, and they go for a 7th. Florida State will have one more at-bat, obviously, in the bottom half of this inning, but there is where Patty Gasso stands. Sharon Backus and Sue Enquist, they shared a couple of those as co-coaches, and of course Mike Candrea at Arizona stands at the top of that list with 8 rings.
Well, and it's just the consistency she's been able to do it with over the last 6-7 years.
There's Riley Boone. 2 down. For Florida State, by the way, their last chance will be their 6, 7, 8 hitters, which would be Leonard, Waycaser, and Dak. But first, another at-bat for Jada Coleman.
I think Patty right now just talking to her about her plan, her approach. The last couple at bats, she's been incredibly aggressive. First pitch, you kind of see her swinging outside of her shoe. She plays. I mean, we've seen her robbing home runs, the emotions she plays with. And Patty's at times had to just calm her down, stay in the moment. She's 0 for so far in this night, but Patty knows she's due.
Well, it speaks to the job that Kat Sandercock has done. You don't have many ball games where Coleman and Jennings are hitless. That is the case so far tonight. It's been the bottom of the order that has been problematic for the Noles.
And Oklahoma just so good at the consecutiveness of, they had hits in the 3rd inning, back-to-back Lions and Boone, and then the home runs back-to-back Sanders and Lions in the 5th, and then again back-to-back in the 6th, Lee and Brito. And when you get those hits back-to-back, it's just so much easier to put runs up on the board. Florida State, on the other hand, has not had anything back-to-back except for a hit and an error in that 1st inning. Unfortunately, left for the Noles, left those 2 runners on.
That was a huge chance. They started out the inning with 2 base runners and then went 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position.
Well, and then, of course, Coleman robbing that home run. That would have been a 3-run shot. That was a game changer right there.
Yeah, it's the difference of this one.
Yeah.
Florida State would be up on Oklahoma.
Okay.
This is the 2nd time we've seen Jada Coleman on a pitch that's close. Normally, she's an incredibly aggressive hitter. She can actually hit anything outside the zone. But when you're struggling, you want to take anything you can get on base. This might be a little bit below the zone for a 2nd strike. But the 2nd time that we've seen her want to get to first base with the walk.
(3-2).
Trying to poke it in the left field.
Bethany Keene has come on to play defensively at first base, and she will hit for Katie Dack. So the 3 batters due up in the bottom of the 7th have all hit a home run at this Women's College World Series. To face Jordy Ball. Coleman with Muffley calling for it. To the bottom of the 7th. Florida State needs at least a pair to tie this up. Otherwise, it's a 3-peat for Oklahoma, and some home run hitters are coming up.
The NCAA Women's College World Series is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet?
2 of the championship series. The Sooners winning game 1, and they are on the brink of a three-peat. They have the 3-1 lead. Last chance coming up for Florida State as the Sooners look for a 6th championship in 10 years. Florida State, their one run on the board, a Mac Leonard home run, and she will lead it off, followed by Hallie Waycaser and Bethany Keene, who also have home runs here in Oklahoma City. 2 to tie it. If they get 3, we've got a game 3 tomorrow night. But they will have to do it against Jordy Ball, who has not given up an earned run in this World Series. 17 comeback wins for the Noles this year. One and one. Looking for a 60th win against just one loss. 61st win.
Can't start that yet.
Two-strike pitch, Jordy Ball. Another 1-2 offering. The grit from Mac Leonard. Struck her out. One down. Two outs to a title.
Now batting right over to home, Hallie Waycaser.
Hallie Waycaser. 0 for 2 tonight. She's 1 for 13 at the World Series, but that one left the building. And she takes a look at strike one from Jordy Ball at 70 miles an hour. Foul ball.
The combination for these right-handed batters for Florida State, there's an anticipation and knowledge that she can come inside so well, but then that changeup that we saw struck out Mac Leonard, the leadoff batter. That's in the back of your mind right now, 0-2.
Pitch from Ball. Backs up Grace Lyons. Sanders applies the tag. 2 down.
Great job at first base by Sid Sanders to go up and get that, come down and make sure that she applies the tag. Really good job holding on to the ball.
That's probably the only time you would ever dive at first. The ball takes the first baseman up, you go down.
Florida State will re-enter Katie Dack to hit here. They are down to their final out. Swing and a miss.
72 miles an hour.
Cranking it up.
We've seen her hit 70 here in Oklahoma City, but 72, she's feeling it. She knows it. I mean, everything that she does before she throws the ball, you can tell the energy, the passion, and now it's coming out in the velocity.
One strike away.
Patty can't even look.
They've retired 10 in a row since the home run. Ball. Missed it away. Doesn't chase the rise as Jordy Ball tries to go 5-0 at the Women's College World Series without surrendering a run. Struck her out. And Oklahoma caps off the winningest season in history with a 7th national championship. Sooners take the series 2-0 over Florida State. They get the three-peat. They extend the winning streak to 53 games. And they have their 6th crown in a decade.
How about the exhale for this group? And as much as we see that fiery passion and the fist pumps, they talked throughout this streak, throughout this season, of the pressure to keep this going, the pressure to win another national championship, how hard that is. And this group smiles and hugs, but also a giant sense of relief that they did do what they started the season to do.
And let's go down to Holly and Jordy Ball.
Well, Jordy, you're at the bottom of that dog pile. It's tough getting up. The tears are starting to come. How hard is this from the inside, trying to get those outs and trying to get this championship?
Well, are you talking about that last inning?
All of it.
I mean, it's hard to get here. I don't really know. I don't have a lot of words right now.
You come in the 5th inning, you've got a lead, your offense has put up some numbers to support you. What did go through your mind when you step into the circle in that 5th inning to kind of close this out?
Just shut it down. Don't give them anything. Spin good pitches, trust the defense, and let's just get out of here.
Last couple of pitches, it was 72 miles an hour for you. How are you amped up and just trying to get those final strikes?
That's funny because I was actually trying to be like 70% just so I wouldn't overthrow. So that's actually really funny.
Yeah, you talked a little bit about how early in the season you were struggling. There's a lot of pressure. The expectations are heavy on this team. How have you stuck together as a group through all the ups ups and downs, all of the weight of this win streak to win on this field tonight?
We stick together. It's not just one person that feels it, but we all feel it. So sticking together through that is probably one of the toughest challenges that this year's brought.
I know you got a lot of family, friends at home in Papillon, Nebraska. Tell us what you want to shout out to their pavilion.
No matter where you're from, whether it's the Midwest, wherever you're from, like, you can do it. It doesn't have to be a big softball state. It can be any state.
Thank you, Jordy.
Thank you.
And Jordy Ball, the Capital One Tournament Most Outstanding Player. And a spectacular postseason performance. She had the ball in her hands in the national championship final last year and again this.
33 strikeouts in this postseason. The changeup really is the difference maker. She records the final out of this 2023 season using that pitch. Jordy Ball just so strong mentally, physically for this Patty Gasso squad, celebrating a three-peat, something that hasn't been done in over 3 decades.
And the joy on the faces of the Sooners as they celebrate the championship. Another tremendous postseason run for the Florida State Seminoles, and careers that come to a close with 3 trips to the championship series in the last 5 years as we get back down to Holly.
Well, Coach Gasso, from the outside looking in, this is a machine, but I know you know how hard it is for you and these athletes. What did this team put together this year to make history?
Commitment. They were just proud of this, of our work ethic, and they believed in each other, and they fought, and they knew how good they could be. And our fall was the reason why we're here. But right now, what you feel, Holly, is from us is freedom, because it was absolutely suffocating as we're going along, and the expectations are overwhelming. But they handled it like champions, and that's why we're here right now.
Jordy Ball named the most outstanding player. She said she has felt that pressure, all the eyes that are on her. How do you talk about the mental toughness as that young woman to step in and time again deliver for you?
She's always wished that she could have this moment, and she's dreamed of it, and I think it probably looked just like this, or even bigger than she expected. So I can't tell you how proud I am of her and all the expectations that lay on her all the time. Bring her in to run allows her to free herself up from thinking about coming back on the mound, but she is just one of the best pitchers I've ever seen.
Coach, I know you long enough to know you hate talking about yourself, but you have established something. How do you, year in and year out, get that champion mindset to take for these young women to believe in what you're teaching and get them to do what you're asking?
They come here, they know what they're getting, and I just have stood strong with what I believe in, and the foundation of this program was built with all those guys that are standing in the stands right now. It's been here for a long time, and so there's a level of expectation that, thank you guys, level of expectation that they need to step up to, and they do.
All right, I can't go without saying something about this adorable baby. How has your family continued to drive you?
It gives me away from all of this stress, and it just makes me very happy, this little Ava.
Good job, Grandma. Good job.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Grandma gets it done again. A 7th national championship, their 6th in the last 10 years, and the three-peat is complete. 3rd straight year with a national title. They close it out 61-1, and that is the best record, the best win percentage that we have ever seen in NCAA D1 softball, and a 53-game win streak to take with them into the off season. Once again, congratulations, a fabulous season for the Florida State Seminoles, the runners-up this year, and the Oklahoma Sooners, your World Series national champions. Coming up next, it's PFL featherweights and light heavyweights. For Michelle Smith, Jess Mendoza, Holly Rowe, our entire crew, I'm Beth Mowens. We'll see you next season.
4+ decades in the making. World Series returns to Hall of Fame Stadium as we get set to crown a champion.
Night's still young, never gonna get old, living for today. Like there's no tomorrow, follow the grooves, the tires and the grass, staying on the gas like we're never coming back.
Michaela Edenfield, the smash and the smooch.
Stomp on him, Nyjah, freshman of the year.
Malloy robs a home run.
Jada Coleman, the Big 12 Player of the Year, delivers.
Back it goes and out of here.
No, stop in the train. They are chasing history here in OKC. Jumpin' Josie secures the win for the Noles. It is the end of this incredible journey.
A Fouts farewell. We tip our cap.
These people are my everything. This has always been my dream.
The Seminoles are back to face Oklahoma. Game 1 belongs to Oklahoma. Here we go. The national championship trophy is in the house.